It is the weekend, yes! Today we're talking about what lens, if you're a beginner, confused about all the f-stops and the millimeters and all that stuff, I'm going to make it super simple for you to understand what lens you should get for your camera depending on what job or how you're using your camera today. All for under $150. So let's go ahead and get started.
Hey, we can run away. You say you want to. You wanna go back. You wanna go back to a place where we can hide. You wanna stay there.
Oh, it is so cold right now. Just went on a date with Laura. Went to Red Ginger downtown. It's like 4.5 stars out of 5. It was not worth it. Just short and simple. It was a good change up, but I would not recommend it again. I remember when I first started like looking at lenses and trying to understand exactly what it was, or understand like how they worked. I understand I understand the numbers and the f-stops and the ISO and all that stuff. It was super confusing to me. And today I hope to demystify all of that for you and really help you understand what lens you should use in a certain situation, or if you don't have that much money, what go-to you should go with. To start with, really ask yourself, what are you going to be using your camera mainly for? Are you going to be vlogging? Are you going to be doing a lot of still shots where you're just standing behind a tripod? Are you going to be getting a lot of photos in nature? What specifically are you going to do? And then that's how you're going to determine which lens and lighting. Are you shooting in low light? Are you shooting in daylight most of the time? That's what you're going to decide first. All right, we are back at the house. It is freezing, but I need to go set up this time lapse. So see you in just a second. So cold on top of a roof, but hey, that's what you got to do to get results. Get out, do it. Like I said, we're talking about lenses. What type of lenses that you need in your kit? What's the perfect lens if you're on a budget? And what the hell do all the numbers mean? So let's go ahead and dive right in. I'll start with the lens that you probably have on your camera right now, and this is going to be the kit lens. It's Canon, most likely 18 to 55 mil, and this thing is, honestly, it's awesome. The kit lens is great when you're first starting out, learning to use what you have in the sky. All right, cool. This thing is perfect for everything. That's why, you know, it's a kit lens. The downside to the kit lens is that it's not very good in low light whatsoever. So as you near like it getting darker, you're indoors, you'll start to really see that grain, and that is really where you'll start to be like, man, oh, what what the hell can I do about that? The reason for that is because it has a small aperture. It has a small opening for the light, which is about what they call like a f-stop, like 4 to 5.6. The higher the stop, the less light the lens takes in, meaning the worse it is in low light. I hope that makes sense. Makes sense to me.
Okay, but I dream that we can fly. You wanna go back,
As you continue to get better, you're going to probably want to switch this thing out. So after the kit lens, I personally got the telephoto lens, the 75 to 300 mil. It still has the same aperture, so it still lets in the same amount of light. But I didn't really know anything about aperture and stuff like that when I bought this. I just knew that, you know, it would be great for zooming in. I thought maybe I can get like some really good B-roll with it, which you can, like if you set up on a tripod, but the longer the focal length, the longer this thing gets out to, the more shaky your footage is going to feel as you're holding it while you're going. So unless you're taking like really long sports shots, like you're needing to get like a close-up of your subject and you're having to be super far away, I'd recommend this guy. I think this one is roughly 80, you probably grab it for about $80–90 on Amazon. The kit lens probably came with your camera, but it's probably $100 if you buy it separate. I wouldn't advise it unless you're either taking like longer shots, like you're super far away, like say your subject is all the way where that other car is and you need to get over there, or you're taking nice stills, which is really good. But we're talking about film today. Film. The next thing I bought was the Nifty 50. And this guy has a f1.8. And where you're gonna see that is, if you look on this lens, you see where it says right at the top, that 1.8, that's where you'll see it. You'll see that kind of. This guy is awesome for almost everything. It's a do-aller, especially if you're behind the camera a lot. It's really good for getting nice creamy bokeh, which is kind of like that blurred background behind you. It has a shallow depth of field. Perfect for wedding photography, wedding, anything, portraits, just really good all-around lens. And this guy only costs to be $50. You can get the Canon one for $150, but the downside to this guy is that it's a 50mm prime. Losing light, and this is where it matters. The 50mm Nifty 50 1.8 does really good in low light. The downside is that you can't, it's really extremely hard to vlog with it, because if you're holding your hand out like this, your camera's going to be about here, and because it's 55mm, meaning that it's going to zoom in really close to your face, you're literally going to have a super close-up of your head, which is not ideal. So you can't, it's really hard to use the 50mm for vlogging unless you set it down like something like this and then kind of back away from the camera. It is a very cheap lens, really cheap, good lens. So that was my thought when I bought this. I was like, you know what, if I'm indoors, I don't have enough lighting, I can just back up from the camera. And I did, and I've used it over the past couple of vlogs, and it's fine, but you really have to back up. Like, to get a full body shot like this, you have to be all the way across the room, which then you start getting into audio problems with your mic because the mic can't hear you. So, I finally came to the conclusion, and let's see, am I gonna back? Yeah, I'll swap this out. I'm going to swap from the lens that I have right now, or wait, before I do that, adapters like to make it telephoto or make it macro and stuff like that. Just skip these all together. Like they do technically work, but you'll end up having like a black kind of circle around your image on the corners, a vignette, and that's not what you want. So I'm going to switch to the very last lens we're going to be talking about today, which I feel like is a great all-around lens that can serve most of your purposes, even indoors. So here we go. All right, so to just illustrate what I was talking about with the 50mm before we jump back into the very last lens I'm talking about, I haven't changed my position whatsoever. I'm literally the same spot, but you see how far my head is, but you also see how nice and smooth that background is behind me. That's the difference. It was really, really good in low light, but like I'm so close to the camera. For me to get my knees into this, hold on. Hopefully I don't go off the roof. I had to back up like 8-9 feet, and I'm like hanging off the roof right now. And if you're in a tight space, it's really hard to work with. It's not exactly worth your time if you have to work in really closed spaces. But it is really good if you have just enough space, and it's okay if you take a few of these like really close up. Nice right here. All right. So the 24mm 2.8, and look at that. You see how like I'm 1 foot away? Completely just ices out my face, which is a good thing. Your background separation. 50mm is really good. But this is what we got. Really good all around lens. It's 24mm, meaning that if you're holding it from if you're vlogging or have to do like a selfie kind of shot, you're holding it, you're going to be about, hold on. This will be about how much is in the frame when you're doing that, just from 2 feet away. It doubles as you go on. This whole vlog has pretty much been shot on this guy, minus right now. So you guys can compare the difference. It is better than the kit lens. Like, so if we're talking about the aperture again, like the f-stops, it's 2.8. So it's okay, it lets in about double the amount of light that than the kit lens does, 4 to 5.6. And then this guy lets in probably almost double that because it's 1.8. So it's really, really good in low light. And I kind of planned this out because I knew I'd lose my light. And I'm really trying to push these lenses to the limit because it's overcast, cloudy. All right, so to wrap this up, if you have $200 to spend, buy the Nifty 50 off-brand $50, as well as this Canon 24mm 2.8 lens. You can swap out, when you're doing B-roll, the 50mm is going to be great for you. When you're doing vlogging or talking head stuff, or when you're just in a smaller enclosure, even in a room, the 24mm will do good for you. If you only have, say, $150 to spend, buy the 24mm. It's going to be a great all-around lens. If you're doing a lot of photography work and you need to kind of get those zoom ins on your subject without being super close, buy the telephoto lens, the Canon 75 to 300mm. It's about $85. Kit lens, obviously it probably came with your camera. So if you don't have any of these, and you don't have money to spend but you still want to get really good shots, just go outside when it's daylight. The kit lens, 18 to 55mm, 4 to 5.6, does amazing outdoors when you have sunlight. You're not gonna get like as creamy of a background as like this, but it does great. So depending on your budget, just go out, shoot, vlog, photograph, shoot commercials, whatever it is, do it, and do it to the best of your ability. All right, hopefully this clarified a little bit for you, and I will see you guys. It's the weekend for me tomorrow. All right, catch you guys later. Peace. Oh yeah, subscribe, like, comment, all that stuff. All right, talk to you guys later. Peace.